That's right, Chuck.
Hello there.
Close enough.
What episode is it?
Episode 36.
Episode 36. We are coming in hot. Today, the finale of season 3 Mandalorian just dropped. We've all seen it multiple times and we're freaking pumped. We are going to detail the entire season and then we're going to spend a good amount of time on the finale to talk about what happened in Mandalorian season 3. David!
What?
What's your favorite color of Mandalorian?
Not the plastic looking helmets that they use. That's for sure.
Sean, who's your favorite Mandalorian?
The Mandalorian.
What city in Mandalore would you live in?
The garden.
The garden. Nice. All right, so let's dive into it. We already gave a really good detail episode of episode 1 of season 3. So we're gonna kind of just give a good overview of episodes 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And David, tell me everything about every episode.
Dude, I don't even remember. All I remember is Jack Black and Lizzo and guy from Back to the Future, Christopher Lloyd. Is that his name?
Yeah.
That's right. What a fun episode.
Those were the only parts.
Yeah.
Those were the good old days.
So after the very first episode, the next episode is called Mines of Mandalore.
Oh yeah, go redeem yourself.
Go redeem yourself. Right, Sean?
How do you do it?
So he had to go to Mandalore. Water. He had to go into the water.
Yeah.
And bathe in the pool to basically cleanse his sins of removing his helmet. Side note, shout out to the puff jobbers that Sean got on these mics. This is new.
Super puffy.
And he went to Mandalore, and that was a really cool episode. Bo-Katan had some sick action in her vehicle, her ship vehicle.
What's her ship called again? They have a name for it. It's like the
Gauntlet.
Yes.
Something like that.
It's like it's like the Bacon Supreme or something like that.
The Bacon Gauntlet. And mostly made famous by Darth Maul in the Clone Wars show because he jacks one of their
Is that like his
ships.
ship for the majority of the show then?
It is because he
Rebels.
steals it. Yeah, he steals it from the Mandalorians.
Okay. I liked his first ship in the Phantom Menace more.
Everybody did, yeah. Pretty baller.
I had it in the Lego version.
Dude, in the video game, it could go like invisible.
Oh my
In
gosh.
Battlefront 2. You never did the ship battles though.
I never touched ships.
Camouflage.
So that was a really cool episode. She had a ton of action in her ship. She's shooting a bunch of TIE fighters, but they end up blowing up her castle. That's kind of the big highlight of that episode is they blow up her castle that she was sitting on the throne of alone. And then they go to Mandalore and she's homeless at this point. So I can't remember.
So she just kind of hangs out with the Mandalorian, but she rescues him from the mines and she's like, oh my gosh, the legends are true.
That's right.
It's better now. You can live and breathe here. And god dang, what was that in the water I seen?
Something, Sean. What was it?
It was a beast of, it was a kaiju.
David, what
LC
kind of
Pacific Rim.
No, sorry.
Okay.
What kind of mythical beast was in the water of the mines?
It was a mythosaur.
A mythosaur, you say?
A mythical dinosaur.
What is so important about a mythosaur?
Well, that is their signet. The horns with the skull thing.
Right.
That is their emblem.
Yeah, that's right. So the legends are true.
Yeah, that's pretty, I thought that was interesting. I never even thought about how cool it would be to see that with my own eyes.
So foreshadow, Bo-Katan sees a mythosaur.
Uh-oh.
Where's this season gonna go?
Nobody
it's building
knows.
up.
Prophecies are true. Isn't that their thing? It's like a prophetic.
Yeah.
When the mythosaurs return, then therefore
They will retake Mandalore. Or it will signify a new age of Mandalore.
or a new age of Star Wars, am I right?
Let's hope.
But like the creature is just a myth. Sorry.
Yes.
They go to Mandalore. They redeem themselves in the living waters. Bo-Katan sees a mythosaur. Boom.
Yep. So then she's homeless. So then that's the next episode is the convert
Yeah. So Dr. Pershing, the guy in charge of cloning, the cloning sciences.
That's right.
Which he picked up on Nala Se's work. Nala Se is the scientist from Camino who started this cloning thing.
She's the one that Omega Nars.
Yeah.
Right.
So he's got this cloning technology. He's trying to find work in the New Republic. He's a good guy now. You know, he just wants to make his mother proud, who was dying of a disease that he felt like he could have helped. And he knew he had it in him to come up with a solution, but she died before he could. So it gives him a little bit of a backstory. I enjoyed that episode. I know a lot of people thought it was weird. I liked it.
I liked it because we don't know anything about that guy other than he was the guy trying to take Grogu in season 1. And you're just like, who the heck is this guy?
Yeah.
So to see like his motivations and, you know, he's just following orders.
It is a detour, but I like hanging out on Coruscant.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just go and have some ice cream, you know? Go on. Look at the lights.
Right.
And he befriends the chick who's obviously bad.
Yes. Yep. With a bullseye.
But yeah, they go onto an Imperial Star Cruiser and find the cloning technology.
Yeah.
And they snag it. And this chick has Dr. Pershing's memory wiped.
Sure does. Completely scrambles his brain.
I'm surprised they didn't use the Borg gullet from Rogue One. Little tentacle monster. Oh, or maybe that's just for like reading minds, getting information.
Right.
But this thing is about wiping.
Right.
They should have just used the Men in Black flashlight thing.
I'm sure it's on Coruscant somewhere.
Yeah, must be too expensive for the New Republic.
What did they say the population of Coruscant is?
They said it's in the trillions.
Yeah.
Also, little lore thing. I like that they have an exhibit for like, some say that this rock is actually the surface of Coruscant.
Right.
It's like such a novel thing. Ooh, look, real land.
Yeah.
Weirdos.
Yeah, that was a cool episode. Yeah. But yeah, you could tell right away this chick is up to no good. She's a part of Moff Gideon's. She was on his ship.
Yeah, we find out her backstory. She was with Gideon, but she's good now.
Right. She's rehabilitated for the New Republic.
But yeah, she takes this cloning technology and you're like, oh my gosh, where is the story going? We all know Palpatine comes back in the sequels.
Right.
This is where everything's headed. Right. The grand scheme of things, this show is putting pieces together. Oh my God, I wonder what's going to happen at the end of the season. So anyway, next episode.
Yep.
We get the Foundling, where he gets taken by the pterodactyl thing. Mm-hmm. That episode was actually sweet. I enjoyed that. I thought that was fun.
Sean, what was your favorite part about that episode?
That you find out that place is just a terrible place to live.
Yeah.
Because not 30 seconds they're there, and then a kid gets picked up by a big old pterodactyl thing. Yeah, but the funny thing is about the show, I really love this season for that. I love that it's still like the monster of the week. You know, like what sort of ridiculous like creature? Because when we were kids, I think that was like the funnest part about Star Wars, getting like the little visual encyclopedia and like looking at all the creatures.
Heck yeah!
So they would do the cross diagram with like the ships. It would like explain the ships in detail, but they never did that with the creatures. I wanted a bisection of the creature.
So they end up at the end of that episode, they save, it's Paz Vizsla's son is the one that gets taken.
Ragnar.
Right? Yeah, Ragnar. And Bo-Katan kind of leads it. And you kind of see her become like the leader of everybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really all that episode was showing Bo-Katan's leadership.
Yep.
And showing she can lead.
At the end of it, they take the pterodactyl's kid, the babies, they take 3 of the babies back to the convert. Say like we found new foundlings.
Yeah, we found new foundlings. Where is this going? End of the season build-up. Are they gonna ride them? We're gonna ride them. We're gonna ride them into Mandalore. Oh, they're gonna tame them and all this.
I thought we found out their fate in a later episode.
See, I thought, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay, well,
when we get to that, we'll talk about it.
So the next one is the pirate. So real quick entry of a new villain. What's his name? Do you guys remember? King
Swamp Thing.
The DC crossover.
Pirate. Well, anyway, pirates come to Navarro to take over.
Because they're ticked off that Mandalorian shot down some of their stuff.
Gorian Shard.
Gorian Shard.
I was just listening to our episode talking about him too. Yeah, he was introduced in episode 1. This kind of like foreshadowing, oh, this is going to be a problem later. I predicted that Gorian Shard was going to capture Mandalorian. That was incorrect. Because Gorian Shard just shows back up on Navarro, and he just starts shooting people. He starts spewing them.
Trying to take over.
Yeah, like actually like just shooting up civilians.
Terrorist
Pretty
activity.
intense.
And Grief Karga sends out, his distress signal, which it was pretty cool.
Yell for help.
Yeah, he's trying to get help from the New Republic, and they're not very willing. The one guy,
My princess.
the one X-wing pilot who shows up quite a bit in this season, he's very willing to help, but the New Republic's, it's like, well, there's a lot of paperwork involved.
Oh man, the bureaucracy. It's like history repeating itself.
They're not a part of the New Republic. They haven't signed the treaty.
I'm getting Invasion of Naboo flashbacks.
My hands are tied. There's a lot of red tape. I don't think we can do anything. So this X-wing pilot goes and he finds Mandalorian. How does he find him, David?
He knew where he was.
Nope. He tracks him down using R5.
Oh.
He knew
my
R5
gosh.
and he found R5's beacon.
That's how they get you.
Can't trust a droid, Sean.
It's that easy.
Is it?
Which we'll get back to R5, but
We sure will.
R5's the one who malfunctioned.
Say his name.
He's got a bad motivator.
Yeah. He is not motivated.
Well, he is in this season.
But he gets a redemption.
Taps off to R5.
That might be the best thing that happened this season, but we'll get there.
So anyway,
gosh.
that X-wing, that New Republic Ranger, he finds the covert, and he says, "Listen, your buddy's in trouble. Your Grief Karga's in trouble." And that was a really cool. I love that episode of them just freaking owning the pirates when they drop down and Bo-Katan's like, "You
Sure,
operate
yeah,
as
yeah.
a tight military unit," and they freaking do.
Yeah.
They move through those streets with precision, just pewing people.
And Paz Vizsla is a highlight of this season.
Dude, he's a tank.
He's a tank. He's legit. He has a lot of cool scenes.
He is who's the character from Rainbow Six Siege? He's like
T'Chaka.
T'Chaka. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how Mandalorian basically gives that speech in front of all the Mandos, like, listen, you don't even know this guy. Last time you saw him, he was trying to kill you because he was trying to get Mando, as Mando was trying to escape the planet in season 1. And that's like the first time we saw the Mandalorians with their jetpacks on. So he's like, the last time you saw this guy, Grief Karga, he was trying to kill you.
Yeah.
But let me tell you, he's actually a good guy now. I owe him my life, and I'm going to go help him. So
He could have like saved himself a bunch of time and just been like, "This is the way."
what?
It's like a get out of jail free card, honestly.
Pretty much. So that's what Paz Vizsla stands up and is like, we don't need to do this. This guy tried to kill us. But you know what?
This is the way.
This is the way.
Oh,
For Mandalorian.
you're right. Yeah, that's right.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, let's go.
Great
Can't
scene.
argue with that.
That was a cool episode, though.
Yeah.
I love the ship sequence. You've got Mando and the B-1, and you've got Bo-Katan, and at the very end, they're both coming in on the ship from opposite sides. And I was thinking the whole time, like, how do you not collide in that
Dang,
situation?
it was like the opening scene from Pearl Harbor
Was it?
with Josh Hartnett and Ben Affleck in their planes playing chicken with each other.
That's a good movie. Yeah, they were like just going right at each other, but then they both peel off in opposite directions at the last second.
Classic.
They must like be a strategic military unit or something.
So yeah, they defeat the pirates. They free Navarro, and they're like, "You guys have a home here if you want it."
yeah,
Got a
'cause-
nice plot of land out there on the outskirts for you.
So, oh my gosh, this is all building to the Mandalorians are now coming back. They have a place they can stay. I wonder what's going to happen the rest of the season. Where is this going? So, next one is Guns for Hire. This episode, I hated it. I hated it. I thought it was so... This was Jack Black comes in
right,
and Lizzo, his wife.
You hated it.
right.
I thought this was the dumbest... I don't know what this was. This was... The only Star Wars thing about it was the droids they brought in. But it was still weird.
Here's what I'll say. I saw on Twitter that Jack Black and Lizzo were in Mandalorian. And I think Lizzo tweeted something like, "I'm in Star Wars, y'all." And I thought, what is going on?
Yeah.
Flashbacks to what's her face? Megan Thee Stallion being in She-Hulk. It's like, what is Disney?
Yeah, good for her.
What is Disney doing here? And then you know what, Sean? I saw the episode. You know what, David? I liked it.
I didn't.
I didn't have a problem with it. I thought Lizzo was great. She wasn't over the top. She wasn't trying to be something she wasn't.
She got to hold baby Yoda the whole time.
Yeah. I liked it.
And Jack Black was fun, of course. But, I think there's something to be said about it it comes across as a little bit of a silly detour
Yeah.
compared to like the end of the episode is what's actually important, that they
Right.
get to the rest of her
Right.
Mandalorian fleet
But
and connect with them.
Why couldn't they just do that in the beginning?
I will say this.
Because we have 30 minutes to fill, Dave.
That city that they were in, though, was so cool. It was like, you know those memes where it's like, society if boomers could pronounce Chipotle correctly? It's like this super futuristic.
Oh my gosh.
You know, what's another one? Gosh, I said it the other day at work. I can't remember what it was.
But they've figured out how to have a society that's run completely automated by the droids, and they get to just enjoy life and
Super
live in luxury.
futuristic, yeah. And that's where we see Christopher Lloyd. He's like the droid. He's the command center
Mission
guy.
control guy. Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
Oh, these droids! There's something wrong with them.
I thought it was a really cool detective episode. I liked it.
There you go.
Who done it?
Well, Chris Lloyd did it. He's a
Oh my
separatist loyalist. So yeah, they stop him.
Man in the
I
DeLorean.
never saw it coming.
And then
I trusted that guy.
Everyone
Bo-Katan confronts the rogue Mandos, the people with their helmets off, that culture.
Axe
Woves. And she says, "We need your help. Join us." He's like, "Yo, you hang around with this guy who has the Darksaber, and he didn't even earn it. He doesn't do anything for it." And
Right.
And then she's like, and then Mando speaks up. "Well, on a technicality, Bo-Katan actually gets it. So here, all right."
Well, so we skipped over a little.
Brother, this guy stinks.
We skipped over a couple of key points that kind of led us to this point in the season. First of all, Mando went to the mines and he got attacked by something, and it completely took him capture.
He got beaten up and captured by a bionicle.
Right, and in the meantime, he lost the Darksaber. It was just on the ground.
So by creed, he lost the claim to the throne of Mandalore to lead the people.
He lost the Darksaber to this.
Is it really that easy?
I guess so.
Like if the king or queen woke up one morning, it's like, where did they leave that thing? And their assistant's like,
No, it can't be stolen. It has to
the
be.
laundry room to be clean.
oh, I think I threw it out with the trash.
No, it can't be stolen. It has to be won in a fight.
Right.
And that thing fought Mando and beat him.
Right.
So,
And then Bo-Katan shows up. It's lying on the ground.
Right.
She uses it to defeat that enemy. So Mando basically, and when that happened, I was like, dang, the Darksaber's just like on the ground. And they very much made it a point to show you like Bo-Katan grabbed it, Bo-Katan used it, and then she kind of just handed it back to Mando when it was all said.
I will say what I noticed when I watched that episode was I remember how much when Mando uses it, it seems like so heavy and sluggish.
Right.
And I always thought, well, maybe it's because it's not a lightsaber. Like, just the physics of this weapon are really weird, and so it feels like a giant claymore saber, so it's clumsy. But when she used it, it was like nothing.
Right.
And I do remember thinking that must mean something.
Yeah.
That it's like light-handed in her hand.
Yep, they explain that in Rebels.
So yeah, later on, they're like, listen, you want to try to lead us, you haven't even challenged him for the Darksaber. Like you try to come and lead everybody, you don't even have the Darksaber, and you are hanging out with him every day.
Well, pause. Up until this point, Bo-Katan's story, her whole character has been, she's been given the Darksaber.
Right.
She's never earned her keep. She's never earned the right to rule these people. So my thing is like, okay, they're bringing Bo-Katan in pretty hard here first couple episodes.
Right.
I realized this is no longer about Mando. This is Bo-Katan's story. Katan. What's her name? Bo-Katan.
Lady Kryze.
Katan. Yeah, Lady Kryze, sure.
I
So
think it's
Bo-Katan.
Katan. I think it's Katan.
Yeah, so her whole story is she's never really been a rightful ruler, and there's always been a technicality, and so I'm like, okay, sick. Her character, her story is coming full circle. She's gonna have a moment. She's gonna get the Darksaber. She saw the Mythosaur. She's gonna end up riding that mother. And you know what? I'm here for it. I was on board with this Bo-Katan full arc.
Sure.
And then the rest of the season unfolded, and they meet the other Mandos, and then when I heard that speech about, well, on a technicality she gets it, it's like, that's her whole story.
Right.
Earn it.
Right.
Dang it.
I mean, here's the thing. The first time she got it, Sabine literally just gave it to her.
Right.
You deserve to rule Mandalore. Take it. there was no like defeating of anybody. It was just handed to her. And that's when everything fell apart because she hadn't earned it and nobody respected her for it.
Can I just insert the clip from Monty Python and the Holy Grail here, where the peasants are talking about getting Excalibur from a lake is like the worst basis to form a government off of?
Well, yeah, I mean, it kind of leads to that point. We get towards the end of the season and some things unfold, which we'll get to. But I think that one of the important things that we didn't mention is the armorer. You know, she basically Bo-Katan joins their covert because she had not removed her helmet since bathing in the mines after saving Din Djarin. And she essentially joins their crew. And then the armorer comes to the realization that if the Mythosaur really is out there, then
this is the way.
A new age of Mandalore will come. And the only way that this is the way is if...
You know how I always say, oh my gosh?
Yeah.
She should have been like, yeah, I think I saw a Mythosaur. This is the way.
So she realizes, though, that the only way that they're going to be able to retake Mandalore, if the Mythosaur is real and they are supposed to retake Mandalore, the only way they can do that is if Bo-Katan unites everybody. So she tells Bo-Katan, we're
stronger together.
Just take your helmet off. Because she realizes, like, you're a part of our crew, but you're also a part of that crew. You're the one kind of like middle piece that can bring us all together. Just take your helmet off, go find your other people, and let's all join up. Let's all get together.
So up until this point, half the season was spent on, no, more than that. We had Boba Fett episodes and the end of season 2 of Mando of just like crapping on Mando for taking his helmet off.
Right.
Then they spend a couple episodes, you know, you got to redeem yourselves, go do it. So he does it. And then literally an episode later, you know what? You can take your helmet off. I don't really care. It's just like, it's really, though, it's the armor realizing there's a bigger picture here. And if we continue to operate the way we are, it's going to be the 20 of us and then the 50 of them. And that's it. Sure.
Then you take your helmet off. Do it.
I think
you won't do it.
She won't do it.
Just watching the episodes, it's like, okay, that was good. But then you look back at the episodes you watched and it's like, this has all been a waste of time. This is annoying.
Yeah, it undoes all of it. Her strong conviction is thrown out the window. But I think it makes sense because she fully understands, like, okay, wait, we're supposed to take Mandalore. We can't do it like we've been doing it.
Sure.
So that's why they go to that futuristic planet, because those Mandos are basically hired as mercenaries to police the area.
Or was it because the armorer felt that only she can be the mysterious female leader?
Somebody's got to be.
With her helmet on all the time over
Probably.
here.
Selfish reasons for sure.
Yeah, she's like, I got to get this girl out of my corner here.
So
this is my niche.
She basically fights Axe Woes to retake leadership of that crew. Because he's like, listen, you've been gone. I'm the leader, and I kind of like being the leader. So she fights him. Pretty cool fight scene.
Yeah. Which, again, they're just launching missiles with no thinking of where is this missile going to go if I miss.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they don't kill anybody.
The spectators are just like, whoa, okay.
Also, they're using like lethal attacks,
right.
Which I thought was, I'm like, is this a duel or is it like a fight to the death?
Yes. Mandalorian.
Yes.
It's supposed to be to the death.
It's fight to the death. But then the lead character usually wins and stops things. Like, I'm not going to kill you. Just
whoa, guys. All right. Nobody goes that far.
I know I sent those rockets at your head, but let's calm down. Yeah. So after that episode, Spies. Now this is where the internet frickin' went rogue with this episode, dude. The Spies. The title alone made the internet crazy. So we find out that the chick that nobody trusts from the New Republic, the one that scrambled the Dr. Pershing's brain, she is Moff Gideon's spy.
I'm the spy.
She's been feeding him information about what's going on. But this episode's cool because we see that scene with Moff Gideon and like the council.
Yeah, so there was a lot of other world building in that.
Yeah.
They're just setting up the Ahsoka show. We hear Thrawn's name.
Yeah.
But it's this group of old...
I understood that reference.
Old Imperial officers, and they're all just like hiding out. And
one of them's last name is Hux.
Yeah, rebuilding.
I understood that reference.
It's Hux's dad.
It's Hux's dad and his actual brother in real life.
Yep. Gingers.
And then they're like, yeah, we'll send Praetorians to accompany you. And I'm like, I understood that reference.
I did not actually, because I thought they were just Imperial guards.
Sure.
So yeah,
He requests a bunch of bombers, a bunch of TIE fighters, and Praetorian guards. But what you kind of understand, though, is they call out Dr. Pershing. Hux's dad calls out Pershing, and he's like, where is he, Gideon? Because we know that you had him, and we know that you were doing your own testing. And you kind of understand this dynamic of, like, Moff Gideon calls out Thrawn's right-hand man and says, like, you keep talking about Thrawn like he's going to come back and save us all, but we've never seen him. So you keep saying the great white hope of Thrawn is coming back.
Or the great blue hope.
True.
With red eyes.
More accurate. Yeah. And then it's like, oh, well, you know, what was the project called to bringing back the Emperor?
Necromancer.
Yeah, Project Necromancer.
Real subtle.
Yeah. But then you kind of understand through that little council meeting that Gideon, like, he's not supporting any of them. He's trying to do his own thing.
And that's the moment where I said, screw this. Because my whole thing was, I was thinking, oh, this is going to fit into the grand scheme of things, bringing the Emperor back, which it still is.
Right.
But it's not. Moff Gideon is doing his own thing.
Right.
And it's like, oh.
But that is kind of the story of the Empire. They're all just, and the Sith and the dark side and all of it, they're all power hungry and they're all trying to rise up the ranks on their own and do their own thing. And it's like, screw you, you had your chance. Now I'm going to take mine. Sure. And I'm going to try to clone myself.
Well, we're still on episode 7, so...
Well, spoiler alert.
Yeah, the spies. We know one spy. Don't know the second one.
Who's the other ones?
Wait for the finale, because then everything's building.
Well,
everything I said.
Okay, so this is where the internet was freaking going nuts. So there is a theme where there's some other episode titles where it's kind of got like some religious context. So a lot of people were saying the 12 Mandalorians that went to the surface of Mandalore to scout the area.
I will go. I will go. I will go.
And then those randoms.
I will go. This is the way. Where's the way? This is the way.
There was 12 of them, and in the Bible, there was 12 spies sent to the Promised Land to scout the area.
Sure.
So it's like, okay, there's some like biblical reference.
Who's Joshua? Maybe. Who's Caleb?
Right.
It's like,
so,
you know.
But was that a biblical reference? Was it a religious reference? Or are there other spies in this episode that we need to be aware of?
Oh man, rising tension.
So Moff Gideon got the info from that chick. Where did she get her information from? Who's been tipping her off?
Gosh.
So we get 12 Mandalorians who go to the surface, and they come encounter with more Mandalorians who have been living there, right? And then there's a big monster they fight. That's pretty cool.
Monster of the week, yay.
But then the whole tipping point is...
Which was not the mythosaur that they fought. That was a different, on Mandalore, different beast.
Just a random beast.
Throwing that out there.
I mean, I think the tipping point is when it flipped their boat over, right?
Right. And then they were just jetpacking around like a bunch of jetpackers.
Yeah, I feel like why use a boat when you have like seemingly infinite fuel in your jetpacks?
It's literally seemingly infinite, which we will touch on in the finale recap. But what was I saying?
They encounter this group of Mandalorians who have been living there the whole time, which is a pretty big reveal because you'd think, well, they've been living on a nuked out planet. Wouldn't they look like ghouls from Fallout or something?
Yeah, so up until this point, we thought that Mandalore, the Night of 1,000 Tears, the Empire came and just wiped it out.
Right.
And because of the nuclear toxins, like the nuclear atmosphere, Mandalore was no longer safe to reside on and be in.
Right.
So that was the whole thing with the armor. She was saying, no, the Mandalore is gone. We can't go there. It's toxic. We can't live there. We have to, whatever.
Which they do a good job during the season kind of explaining that there's kind of like this outer atmosphere of Mandalore where it's like just the storm. And as soon as you get through it, you lose all communication with the outside world.
Sure.
And it's like you're in this bubble. But it is livable.
Yeah,
we should rename the Night of 1,000 Tears to the Night of 995 Tears,
or 99 Tears,
999 or 99, because a few of them survived. Not all 1,000 tears dropped.
So come to find out, there's more going on in Mandalore than we thought.
Well, for sure. I mean, when they first got there, they found like weird ape men, like Wendigos. Right. They found Bionicles that were crazy, killing and draining people of their blood and stuff.
That was the one that bested Mando. Yeah, that was messed up.
So Mandalore's got tons of things hidden under the surface.
There was like those crocodile monster
Much
things.
like me.
Just like the mini ones, not the big ones.
Yeah. Then flying crocodiles that were freaking Grogu out.
Classic Mandalore. So what's interesting in this episode is there's a bunch of Mandalorians that are just like hurt. They right after this attack, and the armor takes the hurt back up to the command ship. Meanwhile,
no, she's like, I will go back and bring them to the ship. Let me take them.
Right.
Don't worry. Don't worry, Lady Kryze. I will take them. But
exactly.
What's interesting is...
Don't worry, audience. You know that this episode is called The Spies, and you only know of one, so I'm going to talk
the other one?
as if I'm a spy, and building up into the season finale.
Grogu.
One of the big reveals is during this like dinner where they're on the ship, Bo-Katan kind of tells you what happened with Moff Gideon and the Darksaber. Somebody else can say it. I'm tired.
Well, she explained that she gave up the Darksaber as a way to
like save
bring
Mandalore.
a ceasefire and save as many people on Mandalore as possible.
Right.
But those Imperials, they don't tell the truth.
No.
They lie.
They're liars.
And so Moff Gideon, obviously, as soon as he got his fingers wrapped around the thing, was like, yeah, I'm not taking care of you people.
Right. So then he just nuked him.
Kicked her in the butt and said, get on out of here.
Yep. So the Mandalorians that were on the planet, they had no idea that. They were like, oh, we were fighting for you, and the Imperials just overran us. And she's like, no, they didn't.
You're a coward, Mickey.
She is a coward. She gave up the Darksaber. And then I can't remember, how did they like get into that Imperial base?
They were just exploring because they were looking for the forge.
They were spelunking.
They were looking for the Great Forge.
Yes. And then they basically get trapped by a bunch of Imperials.
Yeah.
They get attacked by the Imperials.
They get into the mines. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden these white Mandos start coming at them. And she's like, those are Mandalorians. Yeah. Which flashback to Rebels. Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Gar
Rebels
Saxon.
with Gar Saxon, who the voice actor of Gar Saxon, little plug, is the Inquisitor guy in Ahsoka.
I forgot about that. That's right.
But yeah, these white Imperial Mandos show up and just start fighting them in the forge. How did they know they were there? Who tipped them off?
Where did they get the armor? Who makes armor, Dave?
Forges.
What is happening?
So anyway, they start fighting, and Paz is like, Axe Wolf, there's a hole in the ceiling. Go!
Yeah.
Get reinforcements.
He's like, yeah, I'll get to the ship and get reinforcements. And I'm like, how?
It's in the outer atmosphere. He's just got his tiny jetpack, but he can freaking leave the planet if he wants to. Axe Wolves with the backup field system.
Well, he left, and I'm like, yeah, good luck with that, buddy. See you later.
So Paz covers him. They kind of press forward, but they get to a point where they get bottlenecked, and then they get shut off. And this is the end of the episode.
Yeah, they walk into an Imperial base. So that's what's been going on. Moff Gideon set up a whole entire operation in Mandalore.
Yeah. You see all the TIE fighters. You see Gideon drops in with his new armor.
Gideon's got some sick armor. He's a dark trooper, but also a Mandalorian.
Right.
It's like a Mando and a dark trooper had a baby.
And what's the cool reference with his helmet, David?
So his helmet has horns.
Uh-oh.
Now back up. The armorer's helmet has horns.
What?
Now back up. The armorer has been leading all the Mandalores astray, saying Mandalore cannot be inhabited. We can't go back there. We can't live there.
We're not allowed to go there.
We're not allowed to go there.
Uh-oh.
Oh my gosh. The armorer's like, oh, you guys are about to go into that base? Let me take the wounded up to the atmosphere. Let me tip off the Imperials.
Come together.
Yo, Moff, Gideon.
You know what he says first thing? Thanks for bringing all the Mandalorians together, Bo. Now I can eliminate you all. Wait a second. Wait a second, Sean. Who told Bo to get all the Mandalorians together?
Oh my
Who
gosh.
told Bo to unite all of them, Sean?
It was the lady
Yeah.
with the helmet of gold.
Wait a second,
Who
Sean.
didn't want to have her spot as the lady with the helmet on taken. And so she made Bo take it off.
Oh no, Sean, wait a second. When all the Mandalorians were killed from Navarro, who survived?
In season 1.
The armor.
The armor.
Wait a second. Does the
Paz.
armor even have any weapons?
No, she's got sickle and hammer like a communist.
How did she survive, Sean?
You're with them now?
So the internet went wild with all these theories that the armor is the other spy.
Dang, because it's called spies, plural.
Spies. Or is it Axe Woves?
Oh my gosh.
The guy who said, "Don't worry, guys, I'll peace out right now, and I'll go tell them that there's danger."
I hope the episode didn't end right there, because I would have a heart attack in tension.
Well, it almost did. So then, Moff Gideon,
He starts monologuing.
Moff Gideon starts monologuing. But before that,
Ah, you fools! I had you all fooled.
they separated Din Djarin, and they roped him down, and they tied him up,
They dragged him off.
and they closed the blast door.
Yeah, they closed the blast door, which separated Din from
the rest
group.
of the Mandalorians.
Right.
He was surrounded.
So they tied him up around the
It's
neck.
not like Bo-Katan has maybe like a lightsaber in her pocket that could easily cut through that blast door. But
Right.
I digress.
So Mando puts up a
She
fight.
did cut through the blast door, though.
She cut through the other one. She didn't help Din. She turned
Guys.
around and ran. Like the coward she is.
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
So yeah, they capture Mando for interrogation. Who knows why? They want to
man.
kill all the other Mandos, but not him.
I assumed that Moff Gideon really just wanted to, like,
Make it personal.
really personally do something, execute him. That's what I assumed.
Yeah.
I gotcha. That makes more sense then.
But who else is behind the blast door watching all this in horror? He's small and green.
Oh, yeah. I was about to be like, all of them? I don't know.
There's like a lot of Mandalorians, Austin.
It's hard to tell. They're all wearing helmets. I don't know how, like, shocked and emotional it is for any of them.
Yeah, so Grogu sees this.
No.
No.
They take his dad. My dad. I was thinking Grogu would use the Force through the blast door and do something.
Through the blast door?
Why not?
I guess. Palpatine could use the Force through the galaxy.
There you go. Yeah.
So I guess a
Luke
little
could
green.
use the Force from one planet to another.
Yeah. Grogu can do it.
And you know what? The Force can do whatever it wants on its own.
I'm learning that. They keep pushing the boundary, don't they?
Sure.
Why not?
So anyway, Din's captured, and then Moff Gideon's like, well, we're going to come through this blast door and kill you now.
Yep.
And Bo's like, no! and just
No.
runs backwards, and Qui-Gon Jinn's a hole through a blast door.
That's the way to do it.
She breaks this thing down, has all the Mandalorians escape and retreat.
But someone stayed behind.
But she looks back, and Paz Vizsla is like, go without me.
Just go!
And she's like, no, you can't. And what does he do? He reshuts the blast door.
Got him.
So this door has opened like 3 times and closed. They just keep using it, but
So I'll hold him off.
yeah.
got his
So
Gatling
she's like,
gun.
you can't, and he's like, boom, sacrifices himself, and this dude goes all out against these Imperial Mandos.
He goes absolute Hamtaro.
and he is the chunkiest boy in the fleet.
He's
So
the chonk leader.
yeah, he's taking shots left and right, but it don't matter. He's got a machine gun.
Dude.
And what does this remind you of, Sean? Or Austin?
I'm
Sean
over
won't
here.
know.
Hi.
There. I don't know.
Well, I just watched it. So Clone Wars, there's an episode of a clone staying back to fight off
Heavy.
Heavy, that's his name.
Yeah. That's season 1.
It is. So
R.I.P. Heavy.
yeah, a lot of symbolism there.
in
That's
peace.
Dave Filoni's move right there, I guess.
Yeah, it's one of his calling cards.
But
I think it's also just a simple writing technique.
yeah,
It's just-
sacrifice.
Only Dave Filoni would have thought of something.
I'm
So
sorry, you're right.
Paz goes like 1 versus 100 and kills all 100.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed. I thought it would be one of those things of like, okay, the guy decides he's gonna be a hero, but he'll kill like 3 or 4 of them, and then he goes down.
No, he kills.
He actually, it was like him versus 100. And it's like, okay, well, this will be like 5 seconds, but it was actually close.
Yeah. I mean, he took out all the white guys.
What the heck?
And then those dang red guys came in.
Yeah, and then we get the sick Praetorian Guard entrance.
Yeah, at this point, it's like you have this sense of like,
he made it. He did it.
Yeah, this stoic.
It would be like, yay! I did it. Well, all right. Well, let me get out of here, and I'll find the others.
So these 3 Praetorian Guards walk out, and I'm like, oh shoot, those are the guys from
Last
the
Jedi.
sequel movies. Yeah, Last Jedi.
I like their helmets better though.
And what do Praetorian Guards do, Ost?
They protect
They die.
Who do they protect?
the emperors.
Yeah, they're royal guards. They're the best of the best.
Right.
So I'm like, oh,
Yes,
Palpatine,
they're
this
the best
is it.
of the best.
This was the buildup. They're protecting Palpatine's operation of cloning, and
No.
so then we get to the finale. What is this all building to?
Well, no, because Moff Gideon specifically requested that.
I missed that.
And the hologram guy's like, oh, are you anticipating an assassination attempt? You want Praetorian Guards? And yeah, it's a good thing he had him.
Yes, I'm always anticipating. You remember how I was captured by the Republic and they were gonna, I don't know, put me on trial, probably put me to death.
Right.
I just want some extra protection so it doesn't happen again, you know?
Well, the brutal thing about that whole thing is that whole Paz standoff at the end is he won. And if Bo-Katan and co would have still been there, they could have easily helped him. But they were already gone.
Right.
Like then he didn't even anticipate that he would be able to kill everybody. He's like, I'll just hold him off. Oh my god,
Oh my gosh.
They're all dead.
I'm amazing.
Killtacular.
It was a Kilimanjaro by far.
But then the crazy thing about it is, and I saw somebody kind of playing the two scenes from The Last Jedi next to Paz's standoff with the Praetorian Guards. And it kind of shows off their skill, because he literally, at this point, he's ill-equipped to fight them. He doesn't have his heavy gun. He's literally just got his knife, and they literally just kill him right away. It's not much of a fight at all.
Which was sweet. That's how
nice
the
to
Praetorian Guard should be.
Exactly.
It was nice to see those guys not instantly lose the first time they do anything.
Yeah. I think that Filoni's job was to make the Praetorian Guards look better.
Kill Favreau.
Oh my gosh, R.I.P. In peace. It was Favreau.
The voice actor.
He's in the suit.
What happened to Paz Vizsla? Did they kick his body off the cliff or something like that? Or
No,
he
he just slumped over?
Yeah, I think so. He just
Okay.
got stabbed multiple times in the neck.
Well,
Which will
do it.
do it, yeah.
well, we're saying all of this, and there's so much more I want to say because
Say
we
it.
haven't talked about the finale yet.
Well, that's the end of the episode.
Surely we're gonna find out who the Spies 2 number second is.
Yeah, so that's the recap of the season going into the finale.
Right.
Boom. Now let's talk about all the buildup we just talked about.
Right.
Where is this going?
Right.
Season finale drops today.
So, first of all,
Rating.
okay.
Well, no. Let's rate at the end.
Well, here's what I'll say. On IMDb, the Spies episode was a 9.1 out of 10. It was the 3rd highest rated Mandalorian episode. And I thought it was a really good, tons of action, really, really nice visuals, good storyline, epic death at the end for a hero.
Yeah, that was quite the
Great episode. I liked the Spies episode more than I liked the finale episode.
Yeah, it wasn't very good, but go ahead.
Wow. And
It was all right.
and then what was I gonna say?
Before I disarmed you.
Every single season finale thus far,
Yeah.
Din has had his helmet either taken off or he's taken it off. Every single one. So
There's only been there's 2 other finales.
every single finale.
Yeah, but he takes 3 to make a pattern, you know?
Right. So at this point, it was just a coincidence.
Setup, reminder.
Payoff.
Yeah.
Sean taught me about that. So leading into this, it's Moff Gideon just took Din Djarin,
Dinjarin.
and he's for sure going to take his helmet off. He's going to try to interrogate him. He's going to kill him.
Well, the whole theme of this season, I thought for sure was Mandalore, this is coming to a new age.
Right.
They were given a home on Navarro. It's their culture is back. I thought for sure it was going to be all right, Mandalorians, remove your helmets. It's time the world sees who we are. Or something like that. I don't know. I thought that's where it was going.
Right.
Because then we can see who the armor is. We can see.
Right. But then after all this, it's like the armor just pieced out. And like we were saying, like, we don't really know who she is. And all these questions show up, like, she's got the same helmet. How did she survive?
Yeah, she's got the horns.
She's the one that brought them all together.
We didn't go into Moff Gideon's Mando outfit. Legit. I thought he looked awesome.
Right.
I did not, however, like the hydraulic audio effects every
Yeah, it was like an exoskeleton, not just armor.
Right.
It was like, oh, I thought you were going to be more of a Mando than a Dark Trooper. But
Well, they're showing how he can overpower you.
that being said,
He's a cheater is what he is.
Yeah, he is.
in this episode, did they say, I can't remember, did they say this is an improvement on his Dark Trooper?
Yes.
Because, okay, so what I take from that is Luke came in and sliced them all apart.
Right.
So now it is mended with Beskar alloy.
Yeah, were the first Dark Troopers, did they have Beskar
I don't think so.
armor?
They definitely withstood blaster bolts,
But not the lightsaber.
But yeah, but
so that's what I'm getting
But Mando could beat them with his Beskar spear as well.
That's right.
So now this is an improvement. In other words, a lightsaber's not going
Right.
to stab him, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Oh
anyway.
man, if only Darth Vader was this smart.
So yeah, that, and it's like, okay, we're on Mandalore right now. We know that the Mythosaur is somewhere down in the depths.
Yeah.
Do we get some Mythosaur action?
And we know that the Bo-Katan and her scoundrels have gotten away.
yeah.
And where are they gonna go? They gotta go somewhere.
Where they gonna
Down
go, Sean?
into the mines to get the
She's gonna
Mythosaur.
ride them.
Get all those flying crocodiles to help.
Get them all.
And the ape men.
Yeah. All of them.
At least the ones that aren't dead.
So that was like my mindset leading into this. We might get some Mythosaur action. We might get a helmet removal from Din.
Right.
We are going to get a Moff Gideon standoff with Grogu. What's going to happen, Sean?
It's gonna be like hope is lost, and then suddenly you're gonna hear on your left, and it's gonna be like
then the
whole
Mythosaur-
galaxy.
It's gonna be the whole galaxy. For Mandalore,
Everybody.
this is the way.
But we didn't really get any of that, did we?
Boba comes
gosh.
in with his Rancor.
Flying on his Rancor. This doesn't make any
The
sense.
Rancor has a jetpack. Yeah.
He's strapped to the bottom of the slave one.
So,
Yeah, people thought Boba would show up in this, which I never thought.
I didn't think that for
think
a
that was going to
second.
happen.
so anyway, Bo-Katan is running with her people.
This was a very fast-paced
Very
episode.
fast episode, yeah. 30 minutes long, that's it.
Yeah. Give me more.
Right. Come on. I think an hour is
What
like,
is this, Nickelodeon?
I will say that the internet ruined this finale for me.
Yeah. I got caught up in the theories.
Yeah. I
Guess
wanted
what?
it to be more complex than it was.
Yeah.
It was a pretty straightforward episode.
I'm sorry.
So it leads
Just stay
off.
off the internet.
Bo-Katan's running. Mando is still trapped, but just like in our favorite movie ever, Ant-Man, he somehow is tied up being escorted by 2 guards,
And it's like a trivial thing to beat them up.
and he somehow...
No, I think it was a lot better than that.
It was better
He
than that,
jumped
but as
off
soon
of
as
the hallway.
as soon as it happened, I thought this is unacceptable at this
As
point.
soon as I saw it, I thought, Sean loves this scene.
God dang.
I actually loved it. I thought it wasn't like anything else. It wasn't cheesy.
It was done well, but just the idea of you are tied up and you are somehow going to defeat the 2 guards who are well armed, who are taking you away, it's kind of a little bit...
the fight choreography, I rewatched it. The fight scene's fine. You're right, Dave. It's a cool sequence, but I do feel so bad because I can only think about what it took away from me. I felt like Mandalorian needed to like be thrown in a cell or be brought to Moff Gideon and have to like that's where they have the monologue or something.
Right.
But like they didn't put Mandalorian through like the crucible, but he just like fought them and
He fought them,
almost was defeated though.
Almost, and then our boy Grogu shows up. See,
No.
I would have appreciated it better if he was just being taken away, and then you see Grogu fly around the corner like full speed running, and then like knock into the guards.
So we didn't mention, just very quickly in 10 seconds, they took IG-11's body
right,
and restructured it so that Grogu could control his body.
right.
So that's how Grogu gets around. Grogu takes a back seat this whole season.
he's now in IG-12. They called it
Like a middle seat.
and he's got joysticks to control it, and he's got 2 buttons. One says yes, one says no.
That's all you need.
And he steps up, no, and he knocks out the guard, and then Mando gets away. And then they, as a pair, start looking for Moff Gideon. He calls up our boy R5, says, R5, I need you down here to give me the schematics of this base. R5 freaking rises to the occasion and gets it done. Taps off to R5.
Taps off.
Redemption, Sean. Bad motivator? Pfft, not in this episode.
We're like highly motivated.
Hell yeah. So anyway.
So yeah, R5 gets him the schematics. Now this is probably my favorite scene in the whole season.
Uh-oh.
Mando gets a motherfudging hallway scene.
Of course he did.
With the ray shields. I didn't understand why those guards were like, I thought at first they were robots. They were just not,
like awkwardly standing there. They're like
not
just
moving.
turned off.
Yeah. And then like once the ray shield gets down, it's like, huh? Oh, what? That was a cool scene though.
Yeah.
I love
Just
how they
the
incorporate
R5 first door, go.
Right.
He goes, I don't have any weapons, Grogu, so I need
This
you to be
is gonna
brave.
get messy.
Yeah. But he's like, no weapons. I got about 5 shields to get through.
It was an amazing use of scenery because there's just these abyss holes in the ground that he's like stabbing the guys and kicking them down the abyss. I love the first one though because all he has is a knife.
Right.
And then another guy's got a gun. He throws the knife into his neck. The guy falls back into the abyss.
So yeah, that's the last guy. He fights 2
And he, like,
guys.
No, it was the first guy.
He like tried to reach him.
I'm
as he
saying
fell.
right. The first two guys. He fights
right.
with no weapons.
Right.
He beats him. He takes the first one's knife, uses it, stabs the first guy, and then throws the knife into the other guy's neck.
Yeah.
And then the guy falls into the abyss and he tries to grab the knife real quick because he doesn't have a gun.
He tries to reach for the guy's gun and he can't reach it and the guy falls.
Oh, maybe, yeah.
And then he's like, R5, next door.
Yeah, next door. And then this one, they've got like the
Riot shields.
riot shield, what do you call those?
Boomsticks.
Yeah, boomsticks. Electrified boomsticks.
Traitor!
We see those in the first
that
order. Yeah.
Yeah, TR8, TR,
Tree R4 or whatever it is.
classic.
So he fights them. That was legit. Now he's got a weapon.
Yeah.
Next phase, fights some more guys.
Yeah.
It was just such a sweet build up. It reminded me of like literally Fortnite. Like you land, you get your gun, you fight 100 people.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah, that scene was awesome. It was a hallway scene, and he had nothing.
Sweet hallway
He had to
scene.
work his way up.
That was the scenery made it so cool.
Yeah.
Because it was just 2 guys, which again, like, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but that's the beauty of it. It was really cool. Like, why would they be segmented 2 at a time with literally a pit next to them? Because it's just cool. Like, there's that guy talking about the scenery of A New Hope. It's like, why would the tractor beam controls be
Over this precarious abyss.
Yeah,
Because it's cool.
it's cool.
Why
Like,
not?
it doesn't have to be practical.
Hey, so you see those new Skyhoppers? They're in the background talking.
I wrote down some notes because at this point we get Axe Woves flying up into the stratosphere to go warn everybody.
Which was at the moment I felt like they jumped the shark a little bit.
Yeah,
Because I'm like, guys, you're telling me these dudes can just jetpack into low Earth orbit
right.
at will?
Right.
Come on.
So he gets through the storm, he loses communication with Bo, but then he gains communication with the ship. And after reading all these internet theories, I'm just waiting for like the betrayal to happen or
Betrayal.
the spy to show themselves. So Axe Woves, he comes up, he's like, oh, we're being attacked. He says, send all available troops down as reinforcements. Bo-Katan needs our help. I'll take care of the cruiser. Everyone go. And I'm thinking, you'll take care of the cruiser?
Right.
Everybody go? Okay, Axe. But then,
And where's the armor when this is happening?
where's the armor?
Oh my gosh.
But then guess what? He took care of the cruiser. And
Yeah, he like held,
guess
he
what?
held the
Totally
TIE fighters off until
The
it
armor
crashed.
was helping everyone.
totally saved everybody. And yeah, armor is with the crew fighting.
But that's what they want you to think.
Oh, what's gonna happen next though? So Axe is definitely not the spy. What's the armor gonna do? I love that visual though of when all the Mandalorian ships dive into like the storm atmosphere.
And then they
it's-
land inside of there.
well,
They
like
land
it's as
inside.
soon as they get into the clouds and like
Yeah.
out of sight, all the TIE fighters emerged. Like they just missed each other. I thought that was a really cool visual.
That was cool.
I felt like that Axe Woves thing missed one critical component, which was like, it's possible for that to happen, but it's not like probable.
Sure.
So I was like a little frustrated because I was like, you know, the way to like solve this, the get out of jail free card for something ridiculous in a show like that would be if he's like on his way there. He lost communication with the ground team after he went through the clouds.
Right.
There's like the static, reinforcements, you know, like,
Right.
So, oh no, he's cut off. So then he gets out of the clouds and now he's trying to communicate with the people on the ship. And I was like thinking, well, what if he was like, limited air? Right. I'll get there. Open the shuttle door.
And then the jetpack starts sputtering
Yeah, something
out.
like that. And then like, it's like kind of like this desperate act. And he comes out like frozen and like
Right.
huffing and puffing. And then he like gets inside the control room and they're like, did you just jet all the way from the surface? Yeah, it was an emergency. Let's shut up and go. Help.
Shut up and get out of here.
Go.
I will take the ship.
Because then I would have been like, dude, Axe is the new coolest character in Star Wars.
I mean, he
After
freaking
Paz died, yeah.
stepped up to the plate. I was waiting for him to betray everybody, but he didn't. This is a good job.
Like
Good job.
Han from Frozen.
Shout out to Axe. It's
It's a good book.
Okay. So after Mando gets through his hallway scene, he gets into that room with all the clones.
Yeah, so these beams in this hallway are like very high security. So it's like, what's behind this?
Very beamy.
Where is he headed? And we get this room full of tanks, like 8 tanks, 8 or 10.
There's like 16 of them.
And it's like,
didn't
oh
count.
my gosh, this is the scene from Bad Batch. This is where the Bad Batch was made.
Oh no.
What does he make? Are the Bad Batch clones in there?
Wow. I did
Is
not
that
think
the end of
at
Bad
all.
Batch where they wipe their minds and reprogram them to become agents of?
Oh my god.
Or better yet, is this Palpatine? Is this it? I can't see those faces
Yeah,
in the
you
tanks.
definitely. I feel like they were meant to make you think that they were clones of Snoke
I
as
also
they progressed from tank to tank,
Yeah.
I also saw a theory that Moff Gideon was Snoke.
or at least a horribly gone wrong clone.
Exactly. That's
Somebody
not true though.
Somebody hit him in the head with a
Well, that's
shovel.
what I'm saying. Is all this buildup of,
Yeah.
oh my gosh, what's in the tanks? And my mind went crazy. There's the one episode of Bad Batch where there is an assassin clone that Rex takes out, and he takes off his helmet, and it's a clone. And he's like, what? You have no markings. What are you? And then he just like bites his tooth or whatever, and it triggers that.
Yeah. It's like cyanide.
So I'm like, okay, obviously something's going on with that, where
then you've
they're
also-
making assassins.
You've also got the Kenobi show where they've got their Hall of Dead Jedis.
Yep.
It's like, whoa, are they cloning these Jedi?
Something crazy's going on.
My mind's
here, man.
going crazy.
It's like
I'm
a
like,
horror
here
film.
we go. Show me the face. I even paused to see if I could see the face better.
Right.
And I can't. Press play.
Oh, don't worry, Dave. They figured that out for you in like 10
in
seconds.
About 3 more seconds, Grogu walks up to a tank, and it's freaking Moff Gideon's clones.
Mm-hmm.
He's been cloning himself.
Yeah.
And then in a weird
Pretty narcissistic, if you ask me.
Pretty weird.
in a weird series of events, the Moff Gideon clone just opens his eyes.
Jump scare.
And
Scared me.
It is ironic because it's like, no offense to the wonderful actor Giancarlo Esposito, but it's like, I think you could find somebody better to build your army off of than you.
right.
I mean, you're no spring chicken, no offense.
So then, what I don't understand is why does the control panel have a self-destruct button where Mando just blows up every single
He just
tank?
knows where it's
And
at.
by the way, I don't remember counting it out loud, but I think he figured out how to destroy them to them being destroyed in 10 seconds.
Right. And at first I didn't realize they were destroyed. I was thinking like, did he just release them? Because it's just their tanks exploded open.
I thought they were opening up
That's what I thought.
to
yeah.
come and fight them.
I was like, oh boy, here we go.
Dang, it's like that scene in Resident Evil 3
then-
remake, which you guys haven't played.
10 seconds later, we found out Moff Gideon's like, you killed all my clones.
My clones were almost perfect. He's monologuing again. It's like, bro,
you
well, you
destroyed
didn't
them.
even try to like protect them. I don't know, like
You destroyed them before they could take their first
Why
breath.
did you have a very obvious button that said destroy all pods that I clearly smashed?
I was trying to fill my army with the one thing I didn't have. Beat. The Force!
Which I said out loud. I said the Force.
Yeah.
The Force.
The thing is, though, they did do a good job of just tying up all those loose ends of like, why did he have that cloning doctor? What did he want with Grogu?
Yeah, but I thought it was heading for the bigger picture of Palpatine comes back in the sequels.
But then again, you flash back to that scene with him in the council, and you clearly see now that Moff Gideon is just like this rogue agent who is clearly out for just himself, and he wants to be the next emperor. He doesn't give a dang about what else is going on with these Empire remnants. It's like he will become the next one.
Sure.
Why not?
Except not, because then he fights.
You know what's nice about Palpatine?
What?
He's dead. And you know what's nice about Thrawn? He gone. So who's going to fill that power vacuum?
Somebody's got to.
Why not me?
Why not
And you know what's even better than me, Moff Gideon? More of me.
With the Force.
With the Force. Which, how is that going to work?
In Dark Trooper armor.
I liked it because that's what I liked about Avatar too.
Oh my gosh.
Is the bad guy comes back as a clone, and it was like, oh, this is a cool dynamic. I feel like I haven't seen this before.
There you go. Sure. There you go. That's right. He could just like make himself essentially immortal.
Right.
Oh my gosh. This is the way.
This is the way.
So yeah, when I saw all these clones, I was like, oh shoot, that's cool.
Yeah.
And then before I could even finish that sentence, that 2-word sentence of "that's cool," they were destroyed, and I'll never see that again.
Yeah, that was.
So
again, another example of like, it's kind of such a poorly executed like moment that you almost wish they just like said it out loud, like Mando being like, I don't know I'm just gonna kill these things. I don't have time to think about this.
Right. Yeah. So then right after the big reveal, right after he monologues. For like the 8th time in this show, we get probably the coolest scene in like this season is Bo-Katan leading all of the Mandalorians with their jetpacks through the air with the Darksaber into battle.
with the armorer, who is clearly not bad.
Who's clearly on the right team. But
She's just waiting for the perfect moment.
here's what I loved about that whole scene is like you see the complete mayhem that is a jetpack battle. Like, how the heck are you even supposed to find anybody? It's just pure chaos.
Can you guys imagine that scene of all the Mandalorians flying together with her with the Darksaber? Can you imagine just seeing that clip 10 years ago?
Oh man.
Dang.
Would have been like, I would have pooped my pants.
Yeah. It was a cool battle.
I mean,
sequence. And part of the whole like armor theory was like she literally just has a hammer and a sickle. How is she getting around? Like, how is she still alive? But then you see her in this scene
By seizing the means of production
well, there's that.
and usurping the capitalists,
well, yeah. But also
the bourgeois.
in the chaos of a jetpack scene,
Yes.
you literally just need a hammer.
It's true. like what good is like shooting when you can't even, it's like impossible to hit anything.
Right. Like she's just going around pewing
I was
people
thinking about she starts pewing people
with a hammer.
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you're flying that fast and you're hitting someone,
You don't even have to swing. You just have to hold it out.
right?
But she does swing. And
How do you hold on to it though?
She's got those.
I thought it was awesome. I will say,
Those strong hands that have been forging armor for decades.
I will say there were some parts that I thought like it looked odd. It looked like Ant-Man CGI of like them flying in and like I don't know.
liked it.
It was great though.
It
was
is
fun.
well. It like Austin said, it suffers from the problem of being like maybe too chaotic for the audience to really appreciate what's happening.
right.
Because you only see Bo-Katan literally thrust the saber through 3 or 4 guys. You see the armor kill people with the hammer.
Right.
And then you see the lady with like the knee rockets.
I loved the one where she fell down, slid across the platform, dropped, and then like jetpacked and waited for them to come down to chase her, and then she just like lit them up.
She lit them up and then she knee rocketed them.
Pew pew pew.
Which is something that Boba Fett did in his show, and we roasted him mercilessly for. Why does he have a knee rocket? Who needs a knee rocket? But when this chick did it, it was pretty cool.
I thought it was a sweet scene. That whole war scene was awesome.
That was really really cool. But
I think that it was cool. I think the first time I watched the episode, I was like distracted because like you said, it came just after Moff Gideon gave you the extra steps of his plan.
Right.
It's like, I didn't get everything out the first time. Here's everything else I was going to try to do. I need somebody to know this. And I thought, like, Moff Gideon used to be like a very scary villain, like seemed like the smartest guy in the room.
Right.
And now he's like a little silly.
Oh. Why do you think that is?
Because there's a spy.
Or is it because
He's
it's
the
not
spy.
actually him?
Take it back.
Oh my gosh.
It's a clone.
Oh, an NPC.
Oh my gosh. That's why he was so different. Check the mustaches.
The hairstyle's
I
definitely
can't. He had a helmet on.
The hair is different.
The hair is different. Yo.
It could just be because the actor himself is a little older.
Do you
the hair
think he's
is
a
different.
clone?
I mean,
Because it set up that idea. He made clones of himself. But then he said, before they could take their first breath, you killed them.
I will say that his demise came a lot quicker than I thought it would. Sean's writing it down.
We need to look into that.
He's texting his sources in the biz. What
But
did
yeah,
Dave Filoni do?
Mando and him have a fight sequence, and he is clearly overpowered.
Yeah,
Moff Gideon is...
He's getting draxed.
No,
Then-
Mando's getting draxed.
That's what I meant.
Moff Gideon is hydrauliced out in basically a Dark Trooper Mando outfit.
Yep, just overpowering him.
And then it's like, oh no, what could make this situation even worse?
Nothing, Sean, nothing.
Well, then the 3 Praetorian guards come
my
out of
gosh.
nowhere, and then it's like, Grogu's in trouble.
Because Grogu says, no, no, no. And then the Praetorian guards just start going towards Grogu.
Hate that word. You should have used the other one.
I actually thought that scene was awesome when Mando is getting lit up. He's about to die.
Right.
And Grogu runs in and says, no, no. And then the guards look to him. I was like, oh, shoot, here we go.
I said out loud, oh, shit.
So when they turn to go to Grogu and Mando gets up to go and help Grogu,
Yeah.
and Moff just wrist rockets him in the back.
And then he cables him,
yeah, and then cables his throat. I thought that was great. I loved it.
So then we see some Grogu action. He's hopping around like the frog he is, jumping on the light fixture.
That,
true, he's a
honestly,
frog.
I thought it was a little weird, but
And then Bo-Katan flies in and just
yeah, how convenient that they're fighting in this giant
hangar.
where the war is happening above them, which you didn't realize
Very
while they were fighting.
I
but-
also kept feeling like, isn't this the exact same place we were at the end of the last episode? Like,
Right.
I was like, is Paz's body gonna just be somewhere over here?
Yeah, theoretically, because they just did a giant loop around and apparently it's all just one big hangar. I thought they were in like a whole separate room. They were not.
They weren't.
So then Bo-Katan comes in, saves the day, says, go save your son, and then she fights Moff Gideon.
Which is funny, they have all that security with the beams and stuff.
Right.
Which leads to a room that's just wide open. Anybody can come in.
Yeah.
I did feel like it was interesting because I was reminded, like, Mando, after beating up the 2 guards that had him, tied up, he says to Grogu, like, okay, I need you to be brave right now. We've got to stop Moff Gideon. If we don't stop him, this is never going to end or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, okay, well, you got to go find Moff Gideon. But then in hindsight, I'm like, weren't those troopers probably just going to take him to him anyway?
True.
Like, I feel like this is, if anything, I guess the detour to the clone room was probably worth it. But it's weird that it
And to
was
get his
the one
hallway
thing
scene.
between him and Moff Gideon was this clone room.
Right.
Yeah. They were going to take him through it anyway.
Oh, well.
But then it wouldn't have had that dramatic jump scare.
Fine. I'll do it myself.
So then Mando hops into the room to save Grogu from the Praetorian guards. I really like that fight scene. Rewatching it, I like it. I love Mando's use of like shooting people in the ankles. Like, oh, you've got a riot shield? Watch this. And then once they're down, putting the blaster up their helmet and shooting them in the head.
Yeah, he,
Oh, where'd your kneecap go, buddy?
oh no, now your back's going to hurt. Well, it's true because it's like when something has like that strong of armor, you just got to figure out a way to like,
Yeah.
just get in there.
It's very savvy. The way him and Grogu's using the Force. He's pushing guys down.
Which he wasn't OP. It wasn't like
No.
Grogu was just like
He didn't lift them all up in
Right.
the air and snap their necks.
Right, exactly.
Which I kind of wish he would have. But he was just pushing guys over,
He
moving
did
weapons.
his absolute best.
That's what a Jedi does.
It was like such a small thing that he could do, but it was just done at the right time to help Mando. I thought that was really cool.
As soon as Mando was pinned down and the third one was coming in, pushes the third one over.
I thought it was a little bit. I thought it was mildly funny though, because when he'd used the Force to push him, they didn't like slam against the wall. It almost like somebody just like shoved him.
Knocked one domino
So it was
over.
like, it was just like this kind of annoying. It was like, it wasn't like devastating in the combat. It was just like annoying. Like I'm about to, oh, darn it.
Yeah, I thought it was a perfect use of his power. Like that's what he would be capable of right now.
Right. I like that.
It's like when you spam the dodge button in a video game.
Yeah.
They can't ever hit you.
Or like when you are the Jedi in the game, but you're at the very end of your power meter.
Yes.
I can't throw the guy and just to push him over.
Right.
You're just like dry forcing.
So then we see Bo-Katan finishing her fight with Moff Gideon.
Yeah, she says, "Go save your kid, Mando," and that's when he goes. But
I got this.
But she didn't have it.
She did.
and I'm like, "Oh, this is it. She's gonna earn her keep. She's got the Darksaber, but now it's time to actually fight someone and like earn your spot.
She's going to cut that guy's head off.
Yeah, earn your saber, earn the Darksaber. Like have your full circle moment.
Right.
And Gideon owns her.
Freaking owns
And
her.
there is a part, I want you to go back and find this. There's a part she swings her Darksaber into his neck where there's no armor and it just bounces off. And I thought, that's not right. That's the one spot she shouldn't have hit.
Dang.
I felt like Moff Gideon couldn't help himself because he still had to just keep talking.
Right.
Give me the dark saber.
No. Why would I do that? We're fighting to the death.
He starts monologuing again. Classic Moff. But then what's the big oopsie daisy, David?
So yeah, Moff destroys Bo. And then she goes to slice him and dice him. And he catches her hand with the Darksaber in it and just crushes the Darksaber.
Dang, that
Oh,
was
so
easy.
all of that buildup,
How
all
old
of
is that thing?
freaking buildup.
7 million years old.
All right, well,
I don't know.
nobody's ever thought about just like using
And as someone,
robotic arms. to
as
crush
someone who
just
just spent $200 on the Darksaber,
Oh,
screw
no,
you, dude.
Dave.
You should have brought it today. You still got it.
You could probably buy the broken version now.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, I'm gonna go break
Collector's
it.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. They will sell the broken, crumpled Darksaber as a prop.
Yeah.
Just like you could buy the Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru like disintegrated skeleton action figure. I don't. Maybe not. I don't know. That'd be pretty cool.
Seems
though.
really dark.
I hope so. Somebody find that for us. Sean for his birthday next year.
My birthday.
Do you have a birthday? Yeah.
It's any minute now, right?
It's coming up.
So Bo-Katan is losing, but Mando comes back.
What does Moff Gideon say to her? Mandalorians are weak when they lose their trinkets, or something like that.
Yeah.
And she says, no.
Mandalorians are stronger when they're together or something like that. Mando comes in from behind and just he starts
Pew pew.
pewing people.
Starts pewing Moff. Gets him. And he shoots him. I don't know what kind of blaster.
Remember
he
how
has.
I said this is exactly what I thought the end of Boba Fett would have been?
Yeah.
When he was fighting Cad Bane and he kept talking about how you're weak and you're all alone.
Right.
I'm like, well, yeah, then all of his friends and allies he's built up this entire season, they come in and help him.
Right.
So it was like, well, Bo's in trouble, but, you know, Mando came in.
Right.
But I was like, well, where's the rest of them?
Yeah, where's the other 900 that are flying around in the sky?
I mean, Grogu could probably help too. It's like, help.
No, they evacuated.
Oh, that's right, because something bad was about to go down.
Our boy
Literally.
Axe. Literally. Axe with the hero move brings the flaming ship down into the hangar. It's like, I'm going to crash it. Everybody get out.
Pulled a Holdo maneuver.
Oh, the Holdo maneuver.
And what a refreshing thing for once in anything media to see someone do the smart thing and escape
Right.
Yeah.
the doomed vehicle
Right.
that he's going to use to blow up the base instead of staying and dying.
Yeah. Those taps off to
He like
Axe.
just shot the window out and he's like, yoink!
I have a jetpack with infinite fuel. I can escape.
I don't have to die.
Yeah, that was a good job. Well done. And so he crashes. Everybody everybody dies essentially. They shoot Moff Gideon back. Doesn't Grogu like push his weapon away?
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a
Bus.
staff.
Yeah.
It wasn't exactly the same as General Grievous's guards used, but something like
Magna
that.
guards. Yeah, something similar to that. So Moff Gideon gets shot back. He's in the back of the hangar. The ship comes down. Fiery furnace. Boom. Moff Gideon dies.
Yeah. In a fiery explosion as the Star Cruiser impacts.
Bo-Katan's without her helmet. Mando's there. Fire's coming.
And I thought right at this moment would have been a perfect time to cut back to Dr. Pershing and see what he's up to. But they didn't do
His
that.
mind is wiped, so he's like learning to talk again.
He's doing his ABCs.
That would have been quite the transition. I would have definitely been in favor of that. They didn't do that though. So then this fiery ball is coming at Mando and Bo, and who steps in to save the day?
Not the Mythosaur, I said.
Not the Mythosaur and none of the spies. It was Grogu. He creates this force bubble around them that protects them from the flames.
One could say a force field.
No,
Yeah.
that makes no sense.
Sorry.
Very Kanan-esque.
Force bubble. Yeah, shout out to Kanan. R.I.P. in peace. The greatest death in Star Wars.
Yeah.
And I was saying in a recent episode, Dave Filoni knows how to kill a character. The music, the drama, the emotion. Who did he kill recently? Paz.
Tech.
That's what I was talking about. The Bad Batch season finale.
Boy, I can't wait to see how he kills Ahsoka in her show.
Oh, no. He never would.
He's just going to have his character who he like cameos as, like holding her in his arms.
He literally like
So he gets to kiss Rosario Dawson.
he saves Ahsoka's life by time traveling in Star Wars. He has no bounds for Ahsoka. He introduces time travel to save her.
Can't wait for Jedi Tales season 2 where it's just nothing but Ahsoka content.
Right on.
Somebody was like, what do you want to see in Jedi Tales season 2? And someone's like, I want to see when Plo Koon found Ahsoka and how he brought her into the Jedi Order. I'm like, no, stop. We've had enough.
Wasn't that in the first season?
It was kind of, but
Very brief.
there was also some flashbacks in even in Clone Wars of like him with her. And no, we don't need any more of that.
I think it's starting to get a little inappropriate, the obsession Dave Filoni has with Ahsoka.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a while. And I think you're right.
And now I feel like it's bleeding into the fans' obsession.
Yeah, that's accurate. I'm a little worn out though. So anyway, that ends. Moff Gideon's dead. Mandalore seems to be
Is he dead?
Super dead, I'd say.
One of the Moff
'Cause-
Gideons is dead.
The Moff Gideon in the Mando suit went up in flames, but all his clones went up in water. Do you think they offset?
Probably
I honestly, I don't think that's the end of him. I think something with the clones, something.
It was a very abrupt end.
But then again, I thought a lot of things about this season and nothing happened.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
So let's rate it, because I just want to come out and say this season was a letdown. It sucked. I did not like it.
I didn't mind this season, but this finale was definitely ranked third out of all the season finales. I would say the finale season 2 was the best with Luke.
Yeah.
And then season 1 finale with IG-11 sacrificing himself so they could get out of there. And then the reveal of the Darksaber with Moff Gideon. That was definitely better than this season finale.
Yeah.
But again, the internet ruined it for me because
Yeah.
they hyped up all these theories so much that I bought into. I was like, oh my gosh, the armor is for sure betraying everybody.
Do you think they just made a mistake and it was always supposed to be the spy, but it was a typo, spies. They didn't tell the graphic design guy.
Probably. Disney's. Oh, and
Or
then
they had another one, but they had to like cut it for time because like, you guys, we got to get this. This is 32 minutes already. Like we can't.
It's way too long. The episode was called The Return. So it pops up right in the beginning, episode 24, The Return. I immediately think
Of the Jedi, of the King.
Mythosaur.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to
I
get a
thought
Mythosaur.
that's where this was going, but
No.
let's finish it out.
Yeah.
So Mandalore is reclaimed by the Mandalorians. They relight the Great Forge.
They give Ragnar a proper baptism.
Yeah,
in the
Ragnar
waters.
gets his baptism, and then Mando steps up with Grogu and says, I want him baptized. I want him indoctrinated.
Yeah, this cult that literally has us still wearing our helmets even though we're home.
And then in a weird dialogue. I didn't know where it was going.
That was the weirdest thing to me. I paused it.
Thank you.
I said, they're like, well, you know, his parents have to give permission for him to be an apprentice. And I'm like, why? What are you talking about?
Right.
And then he's like, well, then I'll adopt him as my son. And I'm like, you did. This hasn't been a problem the whole season.
New.
Yeah. You know what I thought he was going to say?
Get the paperwork if you're so serious.
I thought he was going to say, well, then I'll go find his parents.
Right.
Like,
I did too.
side quest.
Yeah. I did too. I thought for sure.
But instead he adopted him. So now he is Din Grogu.
Which is weird that he's not Grogu Jaren. But
Apparently last names work different.
I'll say
there.
2 things that I read that made me realize it's okay. Is one, he wasn't born on Mandalore, so he was born somewhere else, and maybe surnames work differently.
Sure.
But the other thing is, Din Grogu is an objectively better name than Grogu Jaren. So,
Din Grogu.
Din Grogu. I like Din Grogu.
My son is going to be very interested to know that he is no longer just called Grogu. Because, you know, people were calling him Baby Yoda, and Oliver was very serious about making sure he corrected people. Like, it's not Baby Yoda.
that was a talk I had with him.
Yeah. So now it goes another level of Din Grogu. Don't just call him Grogu, you idiot. He was adopted, don't you know? So he will enforce that heavily.
Also, like, Jedi Master Din Grogu sounds like a Star Wars name.
Oh my gosh, Sean. Talk
If they
about
put him in the new Jedi Order film.
So
They will. They won't.
So that's the one thing.
They won't.
They literally won't.
It was in the mines of Mandalore, in the living waters, that they baptized Grogu.
Yeah.
And he is now his apprentice, Din Djarin's apprentice. But Grogu looks down in the water and does a little babble. And then it hyperspaces through the water.
It does that thing from like the end of Titanic where like the camera's zooming through the water.
Yeah.
Dun, da, da, da.
Ba, 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 ba.
Get it, David.
And then all of a sudden, an eye opens up, and it's the Mythosaur.
Oh, he's still down there.
So Grogu and the Mythosaur had a moment together.
I'm surprised that the giant explosion of the ship didn't wake him up.
Right.
or like, yeah, any of that other stuff. What the heck have you been
guys
doing
shut
down there?
So they're foreshadowing
Quiet.
nothing's going to happen again. Because Bo-Katan and the Mythosaur had a moment. But... And there has not been a confirmation that season 4 is happening.
No, there is. John Favreau said
He said
already
he's
finished
writing it, but they never confirmed at Star Wars Celebration, and they've done that every year.
Oh no!
Never confirmed season 4.
freaking
So that just feels like a weird, like,
That means
on pause.
That means that they're waiting for him to finish writing so they can tell him if it's good enough or not.
And then, oh yeah, Dave Filoni, you can do a movie now. Okay, I gotta go rewrite season 3 because
Well, maybe that's what it is. Maybe they need to take a breath.
I think.
But I'm okay with that, Sean, because you know what? You know what they didn't do? They did not take a breath when they were writing episodes 7, 8, and 9 of Star Wars. And then they freaking screwed up the story. It's
true.
So you know what? Take a breath. Figure out the storyline. Figure out what the movie's going to be. Figure out where the Ahsoka show ends and how it all ties in. Because darn it, you got one shot at making this work. So do it, Felonious.
With all due respect to John Favreau, there were parts of, especially the finale, that felt like an outline of like, okay, Mando is captured in this hallway. He beats up the guards. Okay, they are looking for Moff Gideon. They find more guards. Okay, they run through the cloning lab. They blow up the clones. Then he finds Moff Gideon and they fight.
Right.
And then Bo-Katan, we need her in the finale. She fights Moff Gideon. So I don't know. It just felt like a little bit of like rushed writing, let's say.
yeah,
Sure.
very
Maybe could have
rushed.
used a little bit more, polish. Some of those, some of that dialogue was a little,
Yeah, the story felt very like one-dimensional.
by the
Just kinda
numbers
like-
at times.
Yeah, it was. The internet was theorizing that it was way more complex than it really was.
And I think the worst, it came out worst in Moff Gideon, because I felt especially in this season his character just really wasn't the same. It just seems so cliche. Like the monologuing, we joke about it, but it's true. It's like you have your villain monologue when you don't have any new idea to naturally have him get that information out.
Right. Yeah. So then it ends with him going back to Navarro, talking with Grief Karga. He takes a pit stop though at that New Republic bar Filoni's sitting there at the bar. He talks to the one guy. What's his
I
name?
thought for sure when he showed up at this New Republic outpost, it was gonna be him going up to Zeb, Gara Zeb.
Yeah, I
just
thought
being
so
like,
too.
"How can I help in the next show?"
Do you have any idea how much CG we've already spent on this episode? No.
Right, and there was nobody in that little shop that was CG.
Yeah, it was all
Dave Filoni was in the back.
I paused it like, who's here? Dave Filoni was in the shop, but it was all
Wearing his dumb hat.
It was all just dudes. But
It's not dumb, but it's a dumb hat.
the basic reason he went there was to tell the New Republic guy, hey, you guys can't do anything about the Outer Rim. So if you want to hire me to protect the Outer Rim, I'm a bounty hunter, but now I just adopted this kid
I'm looking for a job.
and he's my apprentice. So if you need help in the Outer Rim, let me know. But while he's there, there's an IG head on the bar, like, I don't know, trophy rack, I
That's
guess you call
exactly
it.
what I'm setting up in my new house.
David's going to have
Just a helmet rack.
of heads of his
sure.
enemies. We talked about this.
Maybe it was. Maybe it was IG-88.
I was thinking that.
37.
There's only 2 IGs in the entire canon of Star Wars, so it had to be one of them, right?
So he takes that head he's like, listen, you're going to give me a job and all I want for payment is that head. Well, then he takes that head and uses the part that he desperately needed from the first episode to get IG-11 back up and running.
Right, so they'll full circle that stupid moment, but they don't.
And we got our boy Tutu Wakaka voicing IG-11 again. Hello, citizens.
He's here
I am
to
your
serve.
Marshal. Yeah, so he becomes the Marshal of Navarro, and Grief Karga gives Mandalorian and Grogu this little cabin on the outskirts, like, hey, you've earned this. Here's a house. Which, didn't we say that's what Obi-Wan Kenobi Season 2 was going to be all about?
Yeah, just him chilling outside, like learning how to figure out how to repair his hose.
Yeah.
His like faucet keeps leaking, and he's got to go to the hardware store, and
He's late on his mind.
he gets sprays in his face, and like comedic things ensue when Obi-Wan's just trying to learn how to be a dude living on Tatooine by himself,
What are the interest rates on Tatooine?
trying to go on dates, download some apps, and
So
doesn't work out.
how I felt about this whole thing is like he's giving him this house and he basically says like flat out like this can be your home base when things are like chill. It almost felt like in a video game when you get to that point in the video game where you have a checkpoint of like, okay, that's like my save point. Like a Grand Theft Auto type thing where I've got a new house location that I can check in and
like you-
to change my
Like
clothes.
the writers were just given the green light on doing a movie now, and they're like, okay, here's a safe place for you guys to kind of stay.
Right.
Also, it was in hindsight, it's like it's satisfying for like a show to end where like, hey, all the heroes have won.
Yeah.
The story's not over, but this is like they all get to just rest.
Everything's all right now.
All right.
And it literally ends with him sitting on the porch and Grogu like swinging.
It ends with like a comical iris out of him levitating a frog, and it like irises in on the two of them.
Yeah. Star Wars.
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
Something out of Looney Tunes.
Yeah.
And all's well in the galaxy.
And then, so I was like, well, that kind of sucked. So then, about an hour after I watched the episode, I go, oh my gosh, I didn't even look for an end credit.
End credit scene.
I go back, there's no freaking end credit.
I immediately said, there's got to be an end credit scene. Scrub, skip. Wow, it's over.
The Mandalorian will return or something, but no.
I didn't even
In
see
Avengers Secret Wars.
it. Ant-Man will return.
What would you guys rate it, the season as a whole?
Which season was it? Number
3. Uh-oh.
3, you say?
Uh-oh, Sean.
I'd say 6 out of 10.
Okay. Yeah, I'd give it like a 7.1.
I'm going to say 6.8.
I see. I think the reason you gave it lower than me is simply because of the Jack Black Lizzo stuff.
Yeah,
I like
fudge
that episode.
I did not like that. I thought that was very
I
odd.
actually liked,
Society,
I'll say,
if the lactose intolerant people would just tolerate it.
oh my gosh. I liked this season a lot more than season 2, and I've expressed that many times.
Really?
I thought season 2 there's parts of season 2 that are great, but too much of it felt like an insult to my intelligence because it just felt like so much needless fan service, and I felt like that distracted from any novelty and originality the show could have had. But season 1 stopped being good for me towards the middle of the last episode, or was it the end of the penultimate episode where they killed off Werner Herzog's character?
I don't know who that is.
Exactly. The client. The guy he worked for. The super creepy German guy.
Yeah.
Yes.
That is by far the best villain in the show. Not even close. And they killed him. I want to see the baby. And then they replaced him with Moff Gideon. Who's a cartoon character.
I guess the hope, there is hope for the future because they're getting back to like just bounty hunting. What
Yeah, that was a little bit weird, wasn't it? Because he's like, he's my apprentice now. And I'm like,
what has he been this whole time?
well, yeah, I don't understand because like, didn't you were training him to fight on that beach,
right?
In the, you know, with the other Ragnar and then he says, you know, I'm a bounty hunter by trade. And I'm like, well, hold on, wait a second. You're like, you can't like teach a little kid to be a bounty hunter.
Yeah,
he's gonna have to kill people. Don't do that.
I want to see Grogu levitate people and then rotate their heads. We were talking about
Grogu. Here's how I'm going to teach you about dead or alive.
how to bring them in.
Yeah.
You mentioned MCU. One of the things that popped in my head and I couldn't remember until I just pulled it up. New rumor on the rumor mill of mills. Adam Driver potentially as Mr. Fantastic.
I saw that. That's nuts.
I don't like that.
I think he needs a haircut, maybe. No.
I feel like John Krasinski was a freaking slam dunk
Haircut's
cast.
really easy though, Dave. I don't know.
Oh,
That's
here's
not
the
that
other
weird.
thing. So, in speaking of John Krasinski as Mr. Fantastic, in the Doctor Strange movie, we get what Earth was that? 818 that they go to.
Who cares? What are you, a
something
nerd?
like that.
Yeah, no. But did you guys see the recent trailer for Into the Spider-Verse?
Yes.
They basically insinuate that the Earth that we know, the MCU as a whole, is not 616. It is 1999-99, which I don't know what that means.
What are you guys talking about?
He
mentioned Doctor Strange in that boy, which is Tom Holland.
It's the Oscar Isaac voices.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I get it, but like, how are we supposed to know what these numbers mean?
I don't know. I didn't read enough of the comics. But what's her face? The actress that plays Miss Marvel?
Brie Larson.
Oh, no.
Oh, yeah.
The young girl.
Iman.
She did an interview. She's like deep into the comics. She freaking knows what she's talking about. She called it out like months ago saying,
I don't believe that we're 616. I think that's just a ruse. They don't tell me anything, but I'm the spy.
She called it out though. She said, I think we're Earth 1999-99. Whatever that means.
What does that even mean?
I don't know, Sean.
Maybe she did know and she was just pretending that it was a theory.
She was just trying something.
You can't trust the people who work for Marvel.
No.
Not anymore.
Not after what Jonathan Majors did.
Yeah.
Last time I trusted him.
Rookie mistake.
So I think that's it. That's Mando, a little bit of MCU. Anything else going on?
Yeah, The Mandalorian season 3 was okay. I mean, you know, could have been better, but it's funny to compare Mandalorian season 3 to like Andor in hindsight.
Yes.
Yeah.
When you think about like, dang, Andor's like way more serious and parts of it are like really well done.
Yes.
And then you realize, well, you know, The Mandalorian, I guess it is just, it's more a wider audience. It's probably more family friendly. It's probably for like,
Sure.
it's rated TV 14, but most of the time it doesn't feel like it.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
So I'm looking forward to more of it.
I would say that I enjoyed the prison episodes of Andor more than I enjoyed any episode of this Mandalorian season.
One Way Out.
Did you see Andy Serkis is going to be in the next season? So he survived.
I didn't see that.
He is. Confirmed for season 2 of Andor.
I hope they take it back.
Yeah.
Maybe it's a flashback.
What are you doing? That was like the best part.
Maybe it's
that
just
meant something.
Maybe it's just a shot of him at the bottom of the ocean dead.
It's just it's just a cameo.
He posted a picture of him with a life raft.
Oh, did
Just
he?
him smiling, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
But I agree though. Andor was done so well that I think you're right. It's just a different audience. But I love Mando.
Dang, is this a sign that like Star Wars is done? It's over? It's going to fall apart?
We'll see what they do with Ahsoka.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we'll see what they do with
The
Rey.
nail in the coffin, more like it.
I think that's the first movie to come out too, the Rey movie.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh,
Really?
I think I saw that.
Oh boy.
I could be wrong, but
That's weird. Are you sure that
2025 I saw.
What? That's right around the corner.
who's going to be around in 2025? Also, that's only 2 years. I don't believe that that's enough time to properly write and get ready a whole new trilogy or more of new Jedi Order films.
I would say we've done this before and we rushed episode 7, 8, 9.
And we're ready to get hurt again.
Let's not rush anything else. Darn it. But what do I know?
Yeah, but what if we have to wait till we're 40 before we get new Star Wars movies?
Would you rather wait till 40 and have it be a home run, or would you rather see it tomorrow and have it be a poo-poo stinker?
Gotta poop every day.
I don't want any more poo-poo.
Me neither, Sean. So that'll do it.
I want poo-doo. I'll just go watch episode 1 again.
Poo-doo. Yeah.
Not because I don't like the movie, but because that's when Jar Jar makes jokes about it.
Yeah.
No, Sebulba.
Sebulba.
Sebulba, yeah.
But didn't we theorize that, isn't that his son?
It's his dad, I think.
Dad. You said his dad. I was saying his son who had cancer.
He named his son after his dad.
Right. That's the Sebulba backstory.
And when he lost that race, he lost them both.
Yeah.
Right.
Because he was supposed to win for them.
I saw this funny meme that said, the Jedi Council accountant at the end of the year. Okay, so Qui-Gon Jinn bought a kid on Tatooine. That can't be right. What the heck? He did not talk to the HR department.
It is true. He literally bought a slave, didn't he?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Qui-Gon's a goat. All right, I think that's going to wrap up episode 35.
Six.
Just AI my voice. It'll be fine.
I'd rather not.
Episode 36, that's a wrap. We thank you guys for bearing through it. We liked Mandalorian. We like him as a person. We like him as a human being and as a bounty hunter. And
Give us your well thought out, fully addressed and formulated review of season 3.
yeah, in the comments. Write us a freaking book.
Or just on a scale 1 to 10.
No.
Put a number.
Yes, do
Well, you can. How about you start what you want to say off the 1 to 10, and then you give us the novel.
And then tell us in episode 1 of season 4, who will the spy be revealed as? Because they're still out there somewhere. All right. Thank you guys for listening. We ask you to like, comment, subscribe to this video. Tell somebody about 99 Nerds, the greatest podcast in the galaxy. We thank you for your viewership. We ask you, if you're listening on Spotify or iTunes or something like that, hop on over to YouTube, watch our YouTube video, because Sean is going to spend approximately 37 hours editing this. We appreciate him and his efforts, and he does a great job.
One time we released an episode, and somebody, I posted it on my Instagram story, and somebody liked my Instagram story. I'm like, I'd rather you like the video.
And subscribe. Especially if you've made it to this part in the podcast and you're not subscribed. What are you doing? Just do it.
I hope you listen to this on like 1.2 speed or something. That's the way to do it. All right. Thank you guys for listening, and we love you. Peace.
Oh my gosh.